funny you guys mentioned that. I was talking to my buddies. We've been texting, and I feel like System of a Down was ahead of their time. So like when they first came out, I didn't really like them because I was like a huge metalhead, and I was all like into like screaming like death metal, right? But then System came out, and I'm like, that's not metal. But now I'm like, man, they were amazing. Like,
one thing about them that to tell the truth, coming from Brazil, we don't know a lot of old history. I learned about the Armenian genocide because of System of a Down.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't even know there was such a thing as an Armenian genocide until I started listening to them and search and stuff, talking about it, and like, oh wow.
Yeah, I have a good buddy of mine, Gato. He, great guy, super nice guy. He's really active in the Armenian community. His mom was one of like the original pioneers of like an Armenian like throwaway paper kind of stuff. They used to do stuff way back in the day. He's known Serge since they were little kids. They used to go to like Bible study together, and they've grown up together. So when Gato and I first kind of met up, that was one of the things, was just like, I don't want to hear you talk about Turkish people. And I'm like, what? And he's the one that educated me, and then it was like, yeah, but it is funny how, like, even through music, right?
You learn through it. And we were just talking about the East LA music, Hope Send of Our Master Star and some other stuff that happens. But a lot of this is the life of the individual through the music, and we're talking about this stuff that we're talking about here, that we're talking about some characters in the community, right?
Yeah.
This idea that a lot of us are doing this more out of passion than really like a job and a profession. I was joking with him that a lot of folks, including myself, if we were millionaires, we'll probably still be doing this just for free. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to get paid.
Yeah.
It's funny, the connection with music, right, and in the industry, right? Like I shared, I'm a musician. I've played music since I was a kid, and believe it or not, I have found that a lot of people connected to this industry or within this field are also very expressive through music. So it's a thing,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean, I think like even for my kids. They have musical talent. I don't. I just love music. I love listening to music. I can't sing. I can't play an instrument.
I'm thumbed down.
Yeah, both my kids can sing. My daughter plays drums. My son plays guitar. I'm like, that's awesome. It's skipped the generation,
My daughter plays saxophone. They both play piano. Wow. They both play flute. My wife sings and plays piano. All of them, and they all have good voices. I have a horrible voice. I'm toned out. And I used to be in a band, right? So my band was screaming. So it was like a punk rock, metal, and hip hop, because you don't need to be a good singer in any of those type of stuff. So.
Well, like I was sharing with you earlier, I have a 6-year-old now. She's 6, and all my friends were like, she's probably gonna play music, because I play drums, guitar, you name it, right? And now she wants to listen to country or pop music. And it's different, right?
Yeah, and I see this as medium, like this. Now we're doing this podcast here, right? This is a medium, right? So it's the way to express yourself. I think that is different ways. I mean, I love what you guys doing here. Kathleen Fisher, I don't know if she's with us still.
She's still with us at PAO.
I mean, stuff that she does, and she's a stand-up comedian. Right.
Yeah, I've heard.
Because I actually, being in a band, now I go across we have business in 5 states. Mm-hmm. So, and I do a lot of the training on cultural humility, a lot of the training on recovery, a lot of training on justice involved, and I use some of my stage skills when I do presentations.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when we're in meetings, DMH meetings, and there's the microphone. I know.
Absolutely.
It's like, hey, someone has their mic facing the speaker.
It's very true though. Like, people have, when I do presentations, people are like, oh, dude, you just go up there and float. I've been on stage all my life, right? And I've played big shows, little shows, so I do think it lends to it.
Right.
However, this might be a good time for you to maybe like introduce yourself, because I know people are watching this and like saying, "Who's this guy? Is he with the CIA or like what is he doing on the podcast today?"
So my name is Marcelo Cavalheiro. I was born in Brazil. I used to. I was a child psychologist in Brazil. I worked with children that had autism and genetic disorders, spina bifida, cerebral palsy, things like that. Prenatal and 0 to 5. And it was from a psychoanalytical perspective. I was part of the Psychoanalytical Institute. So I did that. But at the same time, I was involved in politics. From high school, I was the president of the student body of my university. And this is right as soon, I grew up in a dictatorship, right-wing military dictatorship. As soon as the dictatorship was over, the governments that came in were right-wing governments, and there was still no freedom. So I had a pirate radio.
Really?
This is a great story. By the way, that's
so
where
you
some
know
of this
this.
idea came from. Because when we were at
Celebration.
the services for Rita's husband.
Yeah.
We were just connecting, and we're always working. We never get to
Yeah.
really chat, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've known Marcelo for years, and he started telling me this. That's where
Yeah.
I remember I was just like, we need to get Marcelo on the podcast. there's a whole background here.
Yeah.
And I was like down. Just give me some dates. Let's get this going.
So yeah, we had a pirate radio. We put it in the air for about 10 minutes a day in the evening, and the FBI, the federal police, was trying to catch us, and they got 3 vans to triangulate the signal, so they can't find out where you're located. Well, we were smarter than them. We put the pirate radio on a van, and we drove around, so they never could catch us. So they were after us. They couldn't catch us, and then there was a movie. 2 movies were prohibited by the Catholic Church and then by the government. Rambo,
Really?
Sylvester Stallone,
No way.
and a French movie by a guy called François Godard. It was called Je vous salue Marie. It was Hail Mary, and it was about the story of Jesus, but it was a single black woman in New York, and so the Catholic Church prohibited both movies. The government prohibited both movies. We show the movie at the university. The university is a federal university, so only the federal police can come in. We showed the movie. Actually, in the front page of the main newspaper, there's me. I used to have a mohawk. It's me with a mohawk showing the VHS video. What people don't know is that the VHS video is actually Jethro Tull live.
No way.
Because we thought the FBI was going to come in and arrest us, and they were like, "It's not the movie; it's something else."
Yeah.
They didn't come. Someone gave me the real movie. We show. So the front, gauchos, which is how we're called in the country, see the prohibited movie for the first time. We know the responsible for it, and we will arrest him.
Mhm.
So my group of people hid me for a month in Rio, and then when I came back, I was in class Personality 101 Psychology. Folks came in on a suit and tie, and Mr. Cavalheiro said, "Yeah, do you know why you're here?" "I have a feeling." So they took me in federal holding. They interrogated me for 20 hours, and they sued me for civil disobedience, the federal government.
Wow.
At that time, and it took 3 years for this to happen. My lawyer became the governor of the state. The group, the people I was involved was underground people. Now the leader of the group is the president of the country, Lula.
Wow.
So I was part of the Lula group. We all underground now. They all in power. One of the guys that was involved with me is a Supreme Court judge now.
Wow.
So, but I thought this is my time to leave the country because with the civil disobedience on your record, no country will let you go in.
Yeah.
So I went and got a visa to come to Salt Lake City. I used to work with kids that had speech impediments, so I went to do a PhD in linguistics at the University of Utah in Salt Lake. I hated it, didn't like it. I walked out, and I became undocumented. And then in Brazil, throughout college, I was a DJ and a cook. So I just went back to do that. I was a cook and a DJ in Salt Lake. Then I got back on my feet, went back to school. I had to do my school again. I got a master's in psychology again. Got married, got a green card. I became a citizen, so don't call ICE on me. And that's it. So I started as a therapist in San Diego. And then by mid-90s, I was running crisis centers there for another company. And about 28 years ago, I came to Telecare. First as a bilingual clinician, then I started running programs here in East LA, homeless programs, just involved programs. And for about the last 10 years or so, I've been running the contracts for the whole LA County. For many years, I ran the contract for North Carolina in Durham. We had a program there. And until last year, I also oversaw Arizona. We had 3 programs in Arizona. But main is LA. Here, most programs are here in Sub-Sahara 7. We have FSPs, intense community service programs. We have Step Down. We have a Build Online for folks that are coming out of jail. And that's where I am.
Yeah, you guys have been really kind of, for our service area, leading the path in helping us with individuals that are coming out of like the justice system and have been justice involved, and really giving an opportunity to folks who maybe had a rough patch at some point.
Yeah, and it's funny because you and I are being, and Jaime, everybody here in Sub-Sahara 7, we are very involved in immigrant services and helping our immigrant communities, and I'm an immigrant. A lot of my work now is with older adults. I'm an older adult. So it's very selfish with some of this stuff. I've been talking and training the county and training Telecare and going all over the country talking about justice involved mental health, right? I was myself, when I was 16, 17, I left my parents' house, and was 4 or 5 of us lived together, and we survived by doing what you would call, juvenile delinquent kind of stuff. I sold drugs, I stole cars, so I've been in that life, and the research shows that 75% of juvenile delinquents just get out of that life by the age of 21. So I grew out of that, but I've been there. I know that sometimes you have no choices, and so by being in all those places, by being undocumented, by being in jail, I feel that I can connect with folks because not on here, but more on here, right?
And I think that's part of what we're seeing our system changing towards, right? We still have individuals that have the book smarts, what you learn in school and the degrees, but I think we're seeing a lot more growth, including the reason we have this podcast going on right now is because it's coming through our Peer Resource Center. We're bringing in lived experience.
Lived experience.
And, I think it's a beautiful thing, especially some of the most successful, I think, clinicians have been those who have the book smarts, but have that lived experience as well, right?
And I that old cliche saying like, it's you learned, what is it, on the streets or Hard Knocks, the School of Hard Knocks. Some of the best training comes from having these lived experiences, right? It helps to see things in a different perspective. Not only are you a professional, but you've been there, like you said. And I find it's funny too how like stigma attaches to like just that scenario, right? You see these kids and they're doing delinquent things, and you say, who would choose to do that? Well, it's not that they want to do that. It's that they have no choice. They're trying to survive, right?
It's out of pain, right? There's this guy, Gabor Mate. He talks about it. He's a Canadian doctor that talks about addiction, and he says that it's about the pain, right? You have to connect with folks in the pain. You're driving here, you see this guy homeless, and you're thinking, get a job, Imagine that guy, the way that he's there, right there, walking to Target or Starbucks and applying for a job, right? Obviously, it's not gonna happen, right? And you don't look at them, like you try to avoid eye contact. And I'm not saying go and help and give money, but just look at the individual and smile, because they're being, the worst pain for them right now is that they're invisible, right?
Again, something you said. So, as a musician, or I used to play music. Some of the best songs I wrote was when I was sad, when I was a teenager, when I was like going through all these changes and didn't
That
really like
angst.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, Megadeth. I love Megadeth. I'm a huge fan of Megadeth, right? Some of the best music, he's still amazing. Dave Mustaine is amazing. But some of the best albums were his early albums. And he speaks openly about his alcoholism and how that was a problem for him. So you're absolutely right. I think, when you are in so much pain, my mom used to say in Spanish, there's a saying, right? Like, basically, like, you don't understand. Like, I can talk to you 1,000 times, but not until you're ready to receive the message are you going to see it, right?
Right.
So when you're in so much pain, like you said, someone could see and say, why doesn't that guy get a job? Well, bro, you've never been in those shoes. You can't, it's not that easy. You can't, sometimes it takes people from the outside to tell you, hey, you know what? You need to slow down, or like, I've been there too, and that's where like having that lived experience and the empathy comes in. So.
And our consumers can tell.
Yeah.
Our consumers can tell.
They can tell.
They,
The people can tell.
They feel it, It's
Consumers can tell. Yeah. People of color, minorities, they can read body language way better. Like, so if I come to your program, and you were a therapist, and you're very nice to me, you're very welcoming, you're very sweet. Oh, what a great guy! And then you turn around and you go to the office, and I hear you screaming to a coworker.
Yeah.
And being being mean to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back and you're nice to me again.
Smart, yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's not a real man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The nice man is the paycheck.
Yeah.
The real man is the one that's being mean to his coworkers.
Yeah.
So we believe, and this is a Telecare thing, we believe that the environments that we create among ourselves before we even see members, this relationship here, this builds culture.
Mm-hmm.
And culture is healing itself. We say the culture is the primary intervention. And this is not just Telecare. Walk to Homeboy Industries.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into Homeboy Industries, you don't need to talk to anybody. You just feel the vibe, right? It's the healing is in the air kind of thing. There's many places like that. That is a culture that you build, and it takes time, right? And we believe that respect is an intervention, and dignity is the outcome. I was thinking about this guy that walked in. He was out of prison for 3 days. White guy, and he spent I think 30 years in prison. If you spend that long in prison, you have to get cozy with one of the gangs, right? Being a white guy, you have to get a little cozy with that gang. And so he walks in. I like to welcome everybody that comes into the program, so I go straight and I put my hand out and I say, "Welcome, brother." Perhaps brother was not the right term because of the brotherhood. And he's all tattooed up. I'm all tattooed up, like except that he had like swastika tattoo on his forehead. Has sunglasses, holding his mom hand. I put my hand out and I say, "Welcome, brother." He start crying. I look around. There's nobody. Like everybody in the program is either immigrant, black, brown, queer. I was like, damn, can we get like a straight white guy to welcome this guy? I'm like, that's fine. So he goes in. The team leader that did his assessment, he passed away, Thomas. Thomas has been in prison, has been incarcerated, has been homeless, has been addicted to drugs, So Thomas does the assessment, comes out, the guy's like crying even more. I go to Thomas and say, "Dude, I swear to God, I just shake his hand. That was all I did." And he started crying. I said, "Marcelo, you're not allowed to shake hands in prison. This guy has been in prison for 30 years. He's been 3 days out. Look at the way he looks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think someone will shake his hand? You're the first hand that he shakes in 30 years. That much respect gave this guy so much dignity that could be his turning point. In criminology, there's what they call turning point, right? It's kind of like in AA when you hit the rock bottom and you switch. We believe at Telecare in the recovery that we do touch points. We are genuinely aware with you, and we do like a touch point, a connection with you. Some of these touch points that we do with people could be the other person's turning point. You never know, right? It could be a handshake that could change someone's life. Right?
But you're treating them like a human.
You're treating like human. That's big. It's a person with person, right?
Yeah.
Because usually, people have like all those diplomas, Marcelo Cavalheiro, PhD, LSCD, LCD,
the alphabet after your
all the
name.
like 12. I went to this guy, his name was Jim something. It was like his full name that has like 6 letters.
Yeah.
And then there was like 12 letters after his name. Right? That's like power, right? I'm more powerful than you. That's usually there, and the trick is really like, and even be below. There's a place that we have in Nebraska, in Omaha. It's a lock facility. You're there for 2 weeks. The first thing we ask when someone comes in is, the 2 weeks that you're going to be here with us, what are you going to teach us? Mm-hmm. Everybody knows something. Crochet, painting. And I went to the training, and I went back to the facility at night with the director. And as we walk in, people coming out of the rooms with a guitar, like, can I show you my song? Can I show you my poetry? People getting involved. So I believe the people with mental illness, they're not the same, they're better than. Because I think once and it's like you were hearing, the experience, once you go through something like that, you become better. I come from a tribe of Indians, the Guarani Indians. There's one of the tribes, the Mibia Guarani. They moved all the way from the Amazon to Paraguay. It took 10,000 years for them to do that. They've been in Americas for 40,000 years. The Mibia Guarani, they believe they're a little sexist. So they believe that women and children are not citizens. And then there's men, which is the citizens, and then the elders, the people that are in charge of the tribe, they all have to have one voice in their hand. You have to hear voices to be in charge, to be the chief.
Really? That's
so if you don't have voices in your head, you are not
You haven't
on
reached
the
that
top.
status.
So it's brownie points in your resume. If you have. And they believe each voice comes from either a jaguar or from a holy animal or from an ancestor. And you get a voice if you go through a near-death experience, a loss, a illness.
You survive.
Right? You survive something.
Yeah.
And that gift, Bruce Anderson calls that the core gift, right? That we call calling, but it's the core gift. That is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Because you come back to the tribe, it's not like, hey, I'm healed.
Yeah.
No, now you have the responsibility to give back to the tribe. Yeah. And the voice is what helps you with that.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
a creepy way to see it, right? A society where someone with schizophrenia actually is the person in top.
But you said something, so I want to go back to a few things. So I think that's why our PRC has been so successful. I'll start there. Because we're out in the community, people with lived experience, we're all peers, we're all community members, really giving back and sharing, right? And really, you said it, the community members can see when you're a phony.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pile together a few things and wrap them up in a bow. When I first started, Manuel used to tell me, all I want is a good team. And I didn't get, I was just like, I'm just trying to do my job, bro. Let me do my job. I don't want to get fired, right? Because that's just my mentality.
Yeah.
And now I tell him, I think I get it. We have a really good team. We have Grayson, Angel, Erika, the rest of the admin unit, the people at the PRC. Yeah. They're amazing. They have a lot of empathy, lived experience. And the success shows it. Within our PRC, our numbers are tremendous. And we're not out there we gotta see 100 people a day. No, it's just naturally they fluctuate to us partnerships. But I think it's because of the personalities that we have, the way we empathize with people and connect. I don't share with anybody what the voices in my head tell me to do. But I do try to communicate to the team, like, in a very chill way, like, hey guys, like, we're doing a great job. As long as you're serving the community, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Everything else will align itself. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's an alliance, right? It's we do trainings for you guys, for LA County, for the providers on justice and mental health, and the demand was, those people are coming from jail. Are they dangerous? They're murderers. And we call the training a culture of safety, and there's nothing in the training about holding down or deflecting. The whole training is about being welcoming.
Yeah.
Because if you are welcome to someone, they won't punch you or spit at you, or if they are in your side, half of the people that start therapy do not go to a second session because they don't feel a connection with their therapist. I tell people, like, I will bash people with PhDs here, but go get your PhD, go get your master's, learn EBPs, evidence-based practice, learn the books are good, read books, do all of that, but none of that's going to help if there's not a connection, right? You have to first engage, connect, and then you do, because all the knowledge will do no good if you're not connected with the person, if the person not listening to you. And most of our consumers don't feel connected.
Well, you also said something too, which again I was sharing with you guys. I speak in stories, so I apologize. But like I'm gonna connect with a few of my friends who I used to play with music this weekend, and we were all on a chat talking, and one of them raised a question or whatnot, and I said, you know what? When I was a kid, I didn't understand a lot of things, so I said a lot of things that maybe I shouldn't have said, or made a lot of stupid choices, right? But the reality is that now as an adult, I still don't understand anything. But now, instead of seeing it like, oh, I can't stand that, I just see it like, well, maybe I didn't know that. Maybe I can't appreciate that perspective. So I've learned that I'm constantly growing. Growth no longer scares me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so through the lens of music, when I was learning how to play the drums, initially, if I saw another drummer who was better than me, I'd say something like, man, that guy sucks. I don't like his style. But now, I observe it, and when that guy is done, or girl, I'm like, how did you do that? What do you practice at home? So for me, it's what you said was beautiful, basically. You gotta be open to learning something from those people you're helping too as well, right? They come to you with a story, and we might not be able to completely put ourselves in their shoes, but we can definitely open up and be like, hey, what's going on? I could never comprehend what you've been through, but I'm going to try to sit here and walk with you through that road, and help you out of it,
But it's taking it even to the next level. I love what you were saying earlier, Marcelo. It's like the fact that people have gone through this, they've gone through their struggles. We've all gone through struggles, but those that survive it almost, you're better than. It makes you stronger, and I think that's a huge shift in our system and how we're approaching things. So that's why, to me, it's tremendous in being able to have you talk about this, because I grew up in the department. As I've shared with my staff, I mean, I started off as an 18-year-old within DMH, so I've been around for a few years. Let's not give away my age. But I've seen the department change. And over the years, I remember, the community perception of us was that we're the Department of Mental Illness. All we do is we treat the illness. We talk about symptoms, we talk about diagnosis. And I think that's where I'm starting to see the positive change, is that perspective that you're bringing to this, which is we're talking about individuals. How do we promote health? How do we identify the person, not the illness, not the disorder? A person isn't a schizophrenic. They may be struggling with schizophrenia, but their diagnosis doesn't define them. In fact, you just took it from something that used to be viewed as a negative to a strength.
Right.
And that's, I think, a huge shift for our system.
Yes, and let's offer them a way out. That's why, I mean, I like peer resource centers, and and supportive housing and supportive employment, but really the goal is for them to go to college or to a coffee shop, a place that they might be one of two people with mental illness. Yeah, it's great supportive employment, but it wouldn't be great to go to a job that maybe they're the only one with the mental illness. Supportive housing too, but it wouldn't be great if they live in a place like you and I live. I think part of this is like an identity, slowly identity death that we, once you get diagnosis, you no longer have friends, you have peers. You no longer have a home, you have a house. You no longer go on vacations and parties, you go on outings. It's like, your life is completely, and like you're talking about us here probably, I was the kid that would be in a corner with my headphones on, listen to metal, right?
Yeah.
Well, our Brazilian kids would be playing soccer, and I would be in a corner listening to metal with my Walkman or whatever. If I was diagnosed with schizophrenia at that age, it's Marcelo isolating.
Correct.
Right? I would be isolating. So every single personality trait that you have that makes you unique, that makes you different than the person next to you, once you get diagnosed, it becomes a symptom.
Yep. Yep.
And everything's a symptom, and your life is over, right?
Yeah.
And if you get diagnosed with schizophrenia, let's say, at 17, like, I was going to be an architect. Is there schizophrenic architects out there? I was going to be a YouTube, I was going to be an influencer. Or I was going to be a mom and have 5 kids. Can I be a mom with my kids who have schizophrenia now? So your future dissolves, right? So part is that I love that we offer support and stuff, but we also need to offer a way out. Pretty much, I know the village MHA, they had this group that a lot of girls call Get Alive. Pretty much, we need to help people to get alive because this life of SSI and boarding cares and that is not alive.
I think you touched on something. I mean, everything you're saying is amazing, but I don't know if I've shared this before, but I'm gonna dump it out. My mom was an immigrant. My siblings were all immigrated to this country illegally. They went through the process. They got their stuff together. But in all of that stuff, my mom never stopped trying to get out. And it was by support of her family, her siblings. They helped each other out. They bought a house. And I approached life the same way. I went through some struggles, but I never had anybody say, you know what, Hannah? Don't worry. I'm going to take care of you. I did it because I had no other choice. Kind of the reverse of what we're talking about. But I see what you're saying, like, if more people were connected to an experience that they regularly wouldn't have, going to college, going into a coffee shop, homeless people in perspective, that can change someone. And they can show them, you know what, I can do this. So for example, me personally, I had a lot of self-esteem issues. Never going to amount to anything, right? And so now I look back and I'm like, I'm doing okay. I'm not that bad. I could have gotten stuck in that pattern where I was before, but I chose to kind of force myself to move out of it. And long story short, I think it's good. But I also think what helps a bunch is the preventative work. A lot of the stuff that the PRC does and we've been doing is a lot of prevention, right? Catching these things early on, helping the community not identify with the system, but to be like, look, this is kind of normal. A lot of people suffer from anxiety at different levels, of course, but like, this is how you might want to deal with that, right?
Right.
So I think the preventative work hand in hand helps people to actually find a way out of it before we even get involved in the system, right? Before you even get that diagnosis, like, look, you're good. This is something normal, and there's a lot of stuff going on right now that can cause trigger anxieties, depressions,
Yeah, and it's I think, again, going back to the whole concept of being a survivor, right? Life in itself can be overwhelming. It can beat you down, and at many times it does beat us down. But it's being able to survive. It's being able to thrive. And like Marcelo was saying, giving folks a life, giving them a life, and I honestly think that to a certain extent, and it's a lot of the work that you're doing here with Telecare in our service area as well. It's not just giving folks a life; it's promoting them.
Promoting them.
So now we
Yeah.
have folks who, like yourself, who have the lived experience,
Mhm.
who you're just by you being you,
Right.
you're teaching that.
Yeah, the identity.
You know?
Yeah.
And
It's because, like, someone that wakes up in the morning and looks themselves in the mirror and see themselves as a patient, a mental health patient, are going to make different choices than someone that see themselves as a Lakers fan,
Yep.
a skater guy,
Sure.
a metal guy, right?
Yep.
And so that kid that got diagnosed, he was looking in the mirror and seeing himself as a metal kid. Now he's a bipolar kid, right?
Gotcha.
And make different choices. So I love we talk about survivor. I always bring this example, but let's say a woman is raped and she goes to therapy and she has for many years this perspective of a victim of rape. And she sees herself when she looks in the mirror as a victim of rape. Somehow through therapy, she overcomes that and she now sees herself as a survivor. The rape is the same, the pain is the same, the facts are the same, nothing changed. The only thing that changed that retroactively, she changed the meaning of the event, and now she's a survivor. A woman that wakes up in the morning and look herself in the mirror and see a survivor will make different choices. A woman that see herself in the mirror as a victim.
So helping somebody change their perspective on whatever situation or their outlook, right, will change the definition. It's like what you're saying.
Yes.
How they
So
define themselves.
how they define their identity, right? And in order for us to, because the identity is this boat that carries us in this journey, right? Who is Marcelo? Who is Manuel? Who is?
No.
I mean, like who we are is and the hope we believe is like the fuel for this journey, right?
What you're saying makes perfect sense. And I'm not trying to be super focused on me, but like, again, when I was a kid, I was a metalhead. Nothing but loud metal in my ears, right? I wasn't open to new music until I changed my perspective and I started approaching music like I'm learning something new.
Right.
Now I'm open to all kind of music. I've never heard this, but I can like some of the songs. I'm not a big fan.
Right.
Like
Because if you're able to step out, you're gonna see metal music is very similar to classical music.
absolutely. Oh
Right.
my goodness.
And then you step out and you see
Yeah.
punk music is pretty much a different version of reggae music.
So
The first punk drummers and bass players, they would hang out in reggae clubs in London, and they learn from reggae drummers and bass players.
Trojan Records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Clash, all those guys, they were reggae bars, and they learned that, and then they created. I love the thing like the American blues, right? American blues and jazz. Born in the Mississippi Delta with free slaves and all that, and then Ali Farka and some other African musicians come to America to learn the blues and come bring it back to Africa. So the blues go from Africa to Southern United States back there,
Back.
or and then Beatles and Rolling Stones come in.
That's what they influence it.
I
Blues
did want to
revival.
ask you. Sorry.
Blues Revival.
Yeah.
Blues,
All those
yeah.
English blues bands.
Yeah,
I had a serious question for you.
yeah, go for it.
Based on your background and everything, would you like me to put a black square or color square over your face, so that the FBI doesn't.
Oh no! I didn't say that. So let me share.
We're gonna blur his
Let me
face.
share this with you. So the trickiest thing on those 20 hours being interrogated by the Brazilian FBI is that they wanted the video, like the VHS, pretty much. And the guy who gave me the VHS, he was the president of the Green Party. He is the guy that in 1974, in his 70s, he was part of this underground group of people that kidnapped a ambassador, I forgot which country, in 70-something. And in exchange, they got out. So he went out of the country, and then he came back in the 70s, started a political party and all that. He's the one that got us the video, but I didn't want to give him out, right? I didn't want to. So they would ask me questions, and my lawyer told me they have a lot of proof against you, because I was the president of the university, I signed all the stuff, lots of proof against you, so you have to deny everything. And I was like, okay. So like, why, we have pictures of you doing a speech and stop traffic. I was like, oh, I'm that kind of guy. I was just walking down the street. I saw this group of people. I just got up there and started speaking, giving a speech. I didn't even know this movie was prohibited. But every single picture they show of me, there's a red circle around me. And they say, Mr. Marcelo Cavalheiro, do you recognize yourself in the red circle? I say, yes. And then the person like, Mr. Marcelo Cavalheiro recognized himself in the red circle. So that's like, put the circle on it.
It's interesting. I didn't know that was your background. Like, I know, I'm not trying to age any of us here, but I think I first met you at the SAL at the ABC meetings.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think that was like the first introduction to Marcelo. And I always tell Manny that the first time I attended that SALT meeting, I swear to God, I thought, like, what am I doing here? I felt like it was a corporate executive meeting. And back then, I was the call center supervisor for Enki. So I'm like, I show up and I'm like, what? I think I'm at the wrong meeting, right? Like, no, this is the address. It felt very different. But I didn't know anything about your background, of course. And now hearing everything, like, dude, you've come full circle, right? Like, I don't need to tell you that, of course.
Yeah.
Right, but it's amazing, bro. Like, you went from, like, me when I was a kid. I have pictures somewhere. I still have to find them. Of me with really long hair, black fingernails, Slayer shirt on. Looking all, like I hated life. But I think it's a part of growth, right? We all experience things differently, but I didn't know all of that about your background. That's why I had to make that joke, like, are we going to get raided? Somebody coming in,
I don't really look like a mental health executive. I know that. I go to a lot of stand-up comedy with my daughter, and she loves to sit right in front, so they pick on me.
But that's really
But
cool,
what
bro.
does a mental health professional look like?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And even before the peers was a thing, we at Telecare, we call people EWLE, employees with lived experience.
Yeah.
And I always want to interview people, I would say, trying to figure out, because they kind of ask, do you have a mental illness?
Yeah.
But I would say like, imagine this is like a potluck.
Yeah.
And so far in this interview, your resume and all that is your main dish, right? We're talking about main dishes here. Now, at Telecare, we also love side dishes. And let me tell you some side dishes that we have here. And then I will share. I'm an immigrant. I was incarcerated as a young man for selling drugs. So-and-so was in jail for so-and-so. So-and-so has a mental illness, still taking meds, so-and-so. The CEO, by the way, Telecare, CEO, CFO, everybody has a family member. What is your side dish? And then if the person would get it, they're like, okay, my mom has a mental illness, I have a mental illness. And I would say at Telecare, just like the Guarani Indians, that is brownie points in your resume. If I have someone that is a great clinician, LCSW, whatever, right, MFT, and someone is exactly the same experience, same degree, everything the same, but this person had been in jail, had been homeless, has a mental illness, is an immigrant, I'm gonna go for this person because it's not that they have bad skills, but they have skills informed by experience. Like, for example, Spanish, right? I learned Spanish in school because you have to learn a foreign language in Brazil. Stuff is not translated to Portuguese. Everybody learns English, and I thought, English is too hard. I'm never going to need English, so I'm going to learn Spanish. That is easy, So I learned Spanish. So if you're going to hire, but you need a bilingual person, Erica, and me and Manny, we both apply. We both speak Spanish.
I'm hiring Manny.
You're gonna hire Manny. We're both bilingual. Why are you hiring Manny? Because Manny is bicultural. I'm not. Your biculturalism inform your bilingualism. Absolutely. Right? So if you have a mental illness, if you've been diagnosed, if you struggle with addiction in your life, if you've been homeless, that experience inform your skills. I'm not hiring you because you have schizophrenia. I'm hiring you because you went through the system
Yeah.
and you know the system. Your skills, getting aboard in care, calling in DMH, it's a little better because you did that for yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
So
right, yeah.
it's not about the it's so the experience informed the skills. Our experience with music
No,
inform our skills.
I totally
right?
get it. Do you all remember, everybody in here? There's a lot of people in here. Do you guys remember a commercial? And I say this all the time, where the person used to say, "Not only am I the owner,
Oh,
but I'm
yeah.
also a customer or
Mhm.
something."
Wasn't it about the hair?
The hair. Yeah. Yeah.
But-
Rogaine.
Yes, but it's
I'm
actually.
not just a member. I'm not.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely correct. So, like,
Yeah.
when I started interviewing again, like when I first accepted my first role, I learned way back then. So I interviewed a lot of people, and some resumes are amazing. And then I started realizing, when you're interviewing somebody, they're gonna show you.
Their best.
Their
right?
best.
Yeah.
But your credentials are so cool. But what do you actually bring to the table? Because there's a lot of robots out there, and we go back to community, right?
Right.
A lot of times by our appearance, the community doesn't know where we come from. We're just another brown person, another person out there trying to do whatever. But then when they realize, oh man, like, dude, you've been through some stuff. It changes everything. You level up. It's like you were saying in that society, right, with the voices in the head. That's the brownie point. You've leveled up.
Yeah,
You
leveled
now
up,
have
yeah.
something to offer
Yes,
those
that's
people
it.
that you're helping.
You
right?
got it.
That's
That's
pretty
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
it,
awesome.
it impacts the way you carry yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. And I again, part of like with my experience, I went into the field of mental health initially to work with children and families. I've shared with some of the staff, like I had to do community service back in high school, and I got connected with Proyecto Pastoral with Father Boyle.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and I worked out at the
Nice.
Liso Pico housing projects.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So, and he was the one that was like, you need to go into social work. And I was,
Yes.
growing up in Bow Heights, I was like, I hate social workers. They detain all my
yeah,
friends.
they take your kids away.
Yeah, and
That's what they do.
he literally told me something, no pendejo, it's something different. And I was like, okay, so he kind of motivated me towards that. And that was my whole goal, to work with children and families. And, I came into DMH, I started off as a student worker. And my focus was always to work with kids and families. And it wasn't until I went to an adult clinic, and I was working with ATCMS back then.
Yeah.
Interviewing clients at Metro
Yeah.
State Hospital. And I was always like, man, am I ready for this? Like, these are some pretty intense clients. And to me, I worked with PhDs, PsyDs, MDs, LCSWs, all the different licenses.
All the super letters.
And it was funny, the best teachers I had were two psych techs that I worked with. And
Oh,
they
wow.
were these two psych techs, Eugene and Brady, who they took me under their wing, and they were like, we're going to take you out. You're not going to do anything. You're going to watch us. You're going to observe. You're going to start interacting. And I remember these guys went out on some severe calls. There's one specific call I remember we went out. It was 3-4 o'clock in the morning. SWAT teams out there. Everybody's like full lineup of law enforcement. And they're telling us, you guys need to get that guy out because he's got a weapon. Because if not, we're breaking through that door and we can't control the outcome. My partner literally takes his badge off, goes up there to the door. So like, hey, just want to talk. Person's holding a rifle.
Damn.
And he's just like, don't pay attention to anything behind me. I'm here just to see if I can help. Do you want to smoke? The client was like, can I smoke? It's like, I'm going to have one. Do you want one?
I need one.
Literally.
You calm down.
Guys all like, hands me the rifle. I'm all like, okay, let me take this over. They sit down on the steps,
Oh wow.
have a cigarette. They're talking. And as I'm taking to turn over the rifle to law enforcement, they're all like, what did you guys do? Like literally within 10-15 minutes. He's
Wow.
disarmed,
Yeah.
engaging, and I'm all like, my partner's just talking to him. And after the whole thing, we ended up, he even agreed to go to the hospital voluntarily.
That's managing aggressive behavior right there.
And I asked my partner, I'm all like, how did you know that approach? And he's like, bro,
You
just treat him like a human being.
just for the moment, right?
Yeah. And I was just like, wow, just being yourself, just treating somebody with some dignity can completely disarm the situation, you know?
I thought about the ATSM when you talk. I was working at TSMS as well. Before I left Telecare for a year and worked for Sofernando Valley Inc. and I was direct for their ATSMS and partners program. And there was a guy at Foothill. At Foothill, I am when we used to have folks at the Foothill still. He had catatonia, and he would never get out of bed. He spent all the time in bed, just move his eyes, right? And I would come in and trying to get him out, like it was hey, you want to go in and out? I just come to LA. And it was in Pacoima, the first one there. I was like, hey, you want to go to this burger place? And he would not talk, just look at me. One day, he moved a little bit further to get a drink of water, a little bit of shirt show up. And I saw Grateful Dad. And we still tape recording.
Yeah.
I bring back a little cassette tape boombox next day or next week with the Grateful Dead song or the Grateful Dead tape. I stayed playing. He went up and then he got sat in bed and it started like trucking, going in like that. And I was like, come on, man, come on, let's go to the highway. And then he got out and followed me to the highway. Oliver Sacks has this book called Musicophilia, I think it's called. And you've seen those YouTube videos with geriatric folks, like in retirement homes, that people are completely gone. And then you put them with an iPad with like, meaning the witchy, those old songs, and suddenly they wake up.
Right up,
And Oliver Sacks talks about this guy, a Japanese guy who was on the barbershop quartet, that he sometimes forget his own name, forgot his wife, forgot everybody. He's like severe Alzheimer's. But you put him on the stage with 3 other guys, he remembered every single song, and he sings it. Like, how can you lose your identity, lose everybody else, but still remember a Megadeth song?
The brain is interesting. It's it's funny you say that. So again, here we go back to me. Apologies. But,
This is a podcast on Jaime. Really.
So there was a point where I played with multiple bands. I was doing session work, right? And my friends used to tell me, like my wife remembers. She'll tell you, I think I was doing like 5-7 bands at once. Recording, shows, you name it. And she would say, how do you remember all the songs? I'm like, I don't. But the minute I hear the first note, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't understand how that is. I mean, I've read stuff on it and I kind of get it. But it's a thing. It's really a thing. At least for me at that level with music, all I needed was one key, like one note. And I'd be like, I got it. All right, cool.
And people don't expect that from you. So this one last thing I want to say is like working with children with autism. My approach with the kids was that do what they're not expecting, because I was a young therapist. I was like 20, and I'm 60 now. That was 40 years ago. I'm 59. So I was like 20 years old. All the other therapists were middle-aged women. They all had that mother kind of attitude towards the kids. I was like the young kid, single. I still like partying and I'm band, So my approach with the kids with autism was completely different. I was not there to be their mommy or anything. So I would just sometimes piss them off. They would be like rocking one way, I'll be rocking the same way. And then they would look at me pissed, and then they'll rock a different way, and then I'll rock a different way. Just copying them until they would like get angry, and then, but I connect with them. I was the first person that would connect with them, because I went along with I had this lady in San Diego that I work with. She had a delusional disorder, and she believed she owned a house in Poway, which was about 45 minutes from San Diego. Every Friday, I'll drive her to Poway to look for the house that I knew didn't exist. We spent about half an hour driving around Poway. Like, turn here, turn here, turn here. I think it's there. And then, and we would talk. And then I would say, oh, it looks like we didn't find it today. We'll come back next Friday. And I don't think it was something. Then we go back. And then every Friday for like a couple of years I did that. Every Friday. Go look for the house that I knew didn't exist. It was just a way to connect with her. When she was in crisis, she would not talk to anybody but me. I was like, well, I'm sorry, Marcelo's not on call. Well, I won't talk to anybody. I need Marcelo. Right? Is that connection that you have because you go along with it? It's like,
I get you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know we're kind of going on, and this is great. That's what I was telling you. It's great to know the story behind Marcelo.
I was so looking forward to this episode, man. You have no idea because I know that you guys go back and we kind of go back. So I knew it's going to be a great discussion. Like, right?
I appreciate it because I think with the two of us and all of us here, we have those. There's, I believe in vertical identities and horizontal identities, right? So the horizontal identities are our journeys. Each one will have our journeys in life, right? But there's this vertical identities that is that stuff that happens to all of us. Like right now, we're going through something in the country, right?
Yeah.
We all gonna be closer after this. COVID was one example. Like, who lived through COVID? How old we were through COVID? Were you in high school during COVID years? COVID is like one of those. Because most of us are Latino, we are either immigrants or our parents are immigrants. We have that vertical identity that kind of put us together in the same boat, let's say. So that's why the extra connection, I think, and
For sure.
why these metaphors with music and things like click so much to all of us because that's how we function, right?
But I'll be honest with you, I appreciate genuine conversations. Like we're sitting here amongst friends. You know what I'm saying? And it does make a genuine connection. And I was sharing a little bit before we all got started with the podcast, kind of like what my vision is and what I would hope to achieve. And I think this is really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that was the intent of this, right?
Mhm.
That's even where, I give Erica behind the scenes over here credit because the whole name of Coffee with a Side of Healing
Right.
was something that, like, she kind of brought to the idea of, like, it's just
I
us
forgot
sitting
about
together,
Oh, that's
dare you.
great.
Just having cafecito.
having, little cafecito. So we were like, why don't we do, like, just talks? Like, it's coffee with a side of healing. We're just having coffees, just
I love it.
people talking and getting to know. But by us even sharing this, and hopefully folks that are watching this, it contributes a little bit to that healing process. I know it does for me,
Yeah.
right?
That's
better.
it. So that's the other thing too. And Gabor Mate talks about this, and let's go back to Father Boyle. Father Boyle, because of what's happening, he says two things: be alert, but be compassionate, right? And Gabor Mate talks about in a Buddhist take on this, which is that people find recovery through servitude, to helping others. And then
Yes.
our staff, there's one of our program, a Justice Involved program, 100% of the staff have Justice Involved experiences, right? That program, you can see people say, it's nice to get paid, but I'll probably do this for free if you didn't pay me. Because it's part of their recovery to help someone else, right?
But that even also brings to like what Manny was saying, like the genuine conversations that are happening here, because it's also genuine when you turn off the camera and you go to work.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like
And
the
it
healing
aligns
continues,
with it.
right? Yeah, the healing
Right.
continues, right?
So one of the things I mentioned when we were talking earlier was, in my head, right? I want to show everybody that clinicians, therapists, higher ups, and wherever you are in your position, really have passion, empathy. You're not just a number. We're actually here to help you. So what I wanted to translate or communicate through these cameras is that, no, we're okay. No one is here to do any harm. We're actually here to try to help you because it helps me feel good. Whenever I touch at least one person, it helps me feel good. And recently, work's busy, but I still enjoy being out in the field, making a connection, actually genuinely helping somebody out. I go home so happy. I could be exhausted, but I come home like feeling like this is really cool. So I totally get it. I totally get it, but I'm very grateful that you took this time to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely have to do this again
Yeah.
because I'm sure there's more stories you guys are keeping in there.
Oh yeah,
You know.
We just barely tapped into, I
I
think,
know,
when you reached
yeah.
about 20, so we still have a few more years.
Volume 1, Volume
Yeah.
2.
I'll be very honest with you guys. I started shooting when you guys started talking. It's about to be noon. So you guys started talking like around 10-ish or something like
Yeah.
that. But it's really cool.
Good.
Again, I think I'm really grateful. You guys are awesome. And being able to do this, communicating this to the community, I think it's a huge thing. I also think it helps for people to heal, like you said.
Yeah.
You know, they hear the conversations, you hear the experience, and we kind of normalize what it is to be in these situations, right?
Yeah, it's a village healing in itself, right? It's you're totally right, man. It's the healing itself. The healers heal through the healing,
Correct.
right? So that's probably, I think, part of why we do this. I mean, the selfish part, right, is that we are also working our issues through
Exactly.
this. Every time I tell the story again, I'm reworking my own story, and like the women who retroactive change meanings, right? I'm trying to, and it's nice to be with you guys supported because as I tell my struggles, you also help me to reframe, like, hey, you made it. Hey, look at you. I mean, I could be, and I know there's other factors. When I was involved on doing illegal stuff, I was only the only white guy. Everybody else was black. I'm the only one alive now. They all died in prison, and so I know that part of it's not just luck. It's that there's some things that I got out of, but I appreciate as I was telling the story. You both saying, "Wow, you made it." It's like I'm thinking, "Oh wow, yeah, I did make it. I could be just another number, right?"
I just figured something out, guys. And I'm sorry, I'm a little slow sometimes, but I'm only gonna blur your face when you talk. So seriously, to wrap this up again, super grateful for you to be here.
Yeah.
If you had a message to the community, we have, I think, I'm not gonna over 17,000 people who watch this. What would you say? It's a small group of people. We're growing, but
Might be a little cliche. I think it was Einstein that said that it's like 1% inspiration, 99% transpiration. But is that, and you mentioned Erica and this guy's work here, is that you see a final product here and you think, oh, cool. But even this and everything that we do takes a lot of work. This is not inspiration. Oh, this guy is so inspiring, or it's a lot less about inspiration and a lot more about hard work, details, hours and hours put into stuff. So, but with that said, you can do it.
That's true.
Everybody, like we said, it takes a village, right? So, and everyone is member of that village.
Absolutely.
agreed.
Absolutely.
Anybody else want to add anything? You guys have all been. We have a studio audience again, guys.
Yes.
We have
It's the
Mr.
crew behind the camera.
Yeah, for sure.
I just like that you all emphasized today on lived experience, and the importance of peers. Just like the Big Book of Alcohol, Bill wrote that he could never get sober until he started helping people. And I think as someone that works in social work, I think a lot of us get something out of it,
Of course,
and it's fulfilling.
it is.
So
But hearing other people's stories also helps you reframe the picture.
Yeah. And,
So
and these guys here, we've all been through stuff, but I didn't know you were a fugitive, bro. I'm gonna have to delete all of this. No,
We're at an undisclosed location.
Well, if this was during the previous president of Brazil years, he's now in jail, by the way.
No.
So the guy who I was afraid of, and I didn't even go to Brazil during those years because of him, is now in jail.
But now,
And Lula is now the president again. So now we're good.
so one of the questions he asked me when we first showed up was, "Is this live stream?" And now I know I asked me. No, this is good, but thank
We'll
you
film
so
it
much.
in a moving van next
know.
time. Part two.
Inspiration, yeah.
If you guys don't see me in the next sack, something.
Yeah, we know
There's
that.
ice down out there.
This is gonna be awesome.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks
you,
again, Marcelo.
thank you guys.
for-
Thank you, everybody. Wow.